in 2003. A gang beating on Milwaukee's near South Side left him with 25 stitches and 5 staples to his head, a fractured arm, and more.
I couldn't function anymore. Now I'm being on disability. And,
whenever I see that part, when I was being interviewed, I remember that night big time, to the point that, let's just say it fucked me up. Hello everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. I wanted to bring this part up once more because I wanted to basically go more into detail on what happened. I talked about what happened before on at least 3 different videos. The very first one that I did was Latin Kings Almost Killed Me. That was the title of it, Latin Kings Almost Killed Me. And the thing about it is, the injuries that I got from it, aside from my elbow being fractured when I fell down and I hit the pavement because they tackled me down when I was running, after I disarmed the girl that they were actually daring her to rob. And before that happened, there was a series of robberies that I heard that were happening around that area, around the neighborhood, of people being robbed at gunpoint, and then after they submitted and gave their money and did whatever, after they robbed them, they would get shot and killed. And that was at the point where I was thinking, I need to get the fuck out of this neighborhood. Isn't that, it's always been, well, not always been, it was in the late 70s when I was growing up as a kid, it was a nice neighborhood. Decent, actually. Decent. Until I got into the mid-80s. That's when things started to get bad. But it got to that point, and then there was some blacks who were moving into the neighborhood. A lot of foul-mouthed ghetto trash people. Extremely fucking ghetto. And I said to myself, fuck this. I'm gonna save up enough money, move out. If my family's not gonna move out with me, because we had to basically live together, my family, my parents and my sister and stuff like that, because of money issues. My sister wasn't living with us at that time, or was she? Oh yeah, she was. And then I was saving up enough money to move out. So when that happened, I actually honestly thought I was going to get shot and killed. So I said, fuck this. So I disarmed her and I punched that fucking bitch right in the face. I mean, I don't condone hitting women. I really don't. And even a few people told me, it may have been kind of stupid to try to disarm that person, but if you honestly feel that person's going to shoot you and kill you no matter what, or even just shoot you anywhere in the body with it. This was a sawed-off shotgun. I'm not willing to take a fucking bullet, even after I gave him what I wanted, and that did anything stupid. I'm still gonna get shot. Does anybody anybody in the right mind would want to get shot by a fucking 12 gauge, even after you submit it and it says, okay, just take this, just take it easy, all right? Just don't please don't kill me. And then they still shoot you. Fuck that. No one in their right mind is gonna want to fucking take that. I mean, if it's either you or them. I wasn't doing that to be macho or to be a badass. I just did it because I had to. And even though I don't condone hitting women, I really don't. But in a situation like that, if someone's trying to kill me, I don't care who it is, man or woman. If I disarm you and I plan to punch you in the fucking face, bust your nose, knock your teeth out or whatever, punch you in the eye, get a black eye, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'll punch you hard in the fucking face. So that's what I did. I punched her real hard in the fucking face, like right by her mouth. I just went real hard in her fucking mouth, and I quickly grabbed the 12 gauge from her and I pried it off her hands. I knocked her down in the process, and I was getting ready to actually hit her with it before about 20 of these guys, these most of them were minors. Almost all of them were. That's when they attacked me, and then when I pulled the trigger, it didn't go off because it wasn't loaded. And then later I found out that it wasn't even it just wasn't loaded at all. So I ran. And that's when they knocked me down. I hit my elbow again on the pavement, fracturing it. And then when they attacked me and just stomped on my head like crazy. And of course, you know the rest from my other videos. You know what happened. I thought I was gonna die. Now, the thing about it is, when I was in court for not for the main guy, because the one that went to prison, his name was Luis Sanchez. He was 19 years old at that time. On June 26, 2003. There was another guy named Jordan Duke. And I'm saying this, I don't give a fuck, I'm saying this. He was at this juvenile court. I was sitting on one side with my family. He was sitting down. His mom is crying. This kid's 14 years old. He was actually taller than me. For a 14-year-old, he was like 5'8", or maybe not 5 foot. Maybe I'm exaggerating. He was probably like the same height as me or something. I don't know. He was average height, and he didn't want to look at me. And then when he was forced to apologize, I could just tell this guy was just full of shit. A part of me wanted to fucking get in his face. A part of me wanted to fucking just fucking stick him right in his shit. The anger and the frustration and the whole thing was just overwhelming. I had to let that shit go because people were saying, "Don't, just be happy that you're alive, man. Just don't do anything stupid. Don't try to get revenge. Don't do that." I mean, some people would do that, and then another person told me the same thing, but they also said, if that happened to me, believe me, I would fucking get revenge. I'll kill your ass. I'll do this, I'll do that. After they told me, don't get revenge, it's not good, you don't want to end up in trouble. I guess this is like a way of saying, I would do it because I don't give a fuck, but somebody like you're a good guy, you shouldn't, don't even think about some shit like that. I don't know. I guess I'm not gonna make any comment on that. I mean, I respect that. The look on that woman's face, Jennifer Garcia, when she had to rat everybody out in order to avoid prison time, because she only got 189 days just for being a snitch. she gave me this dirty fucking look when I had no choice but to pass her up. It was this big office, and then there was two doorways. And somebody, a lawyer or somebody says, Mr., whatever, and he just called me over to walk over there. She was sitting down, resting her head on her hand by the table. I passed her up, and I just looked at her for like 2 seconds. And she gave me that look, that fucking, that mean ass fucking look. Like she wanted to fucking rip my head off kind of look. Or I wish I could fucking kill you kind of look. And I'm like, you fucking bitch. You don't even give a shit if I would have fucking died. I didn't deserve that shit. And you're giving me this fucking look? Fuck you. So she ended up getting only 189 days. But then again, like the rest from the other video that she was later on, many years later in 2014, she was arrested for almost beating to death a 3-year-old little boy. She almost killed him. And the abuse lasted for months, from what I understood, for a couple of months or more. I don't know how long, but she had a piece of shit boyfriend anyways, she ended up getting a 20-some years for that thing. I was hitting rock bottom. I mean, I know I shouldn't be ashamed of where I came from. I know I shouldn't. I mean, I grew up in the ghetto. I wasn't really proud of it. There was decent people that I became friends with. And of course, there was unsavory people that I also became friends with. There were Latin kings, junior kings, back JKs back then. And I was always cool with them, even though I didn't really care for a lot of the stupid shit that they were doing. But they never bothered me. And of course, this one was like a different generation, a big difference from 1985 from 2003. a big fucking difference. Because back then, during my day, it was all about colors. Someone's wearing certain colors, and then I remember when certain people used to wear the sweater, gang sweaters in the late 70s. Especially during the time when, like when the Spanish Cobras were around, it wasn't too often that I noticed, but I did notice a couple of them wearing their gang sweaters. And even though it was bad back then as well, at least they had some degree of honor, I think I could actually say. The gangs from the late 70s, early 80s. They weren't exactly angels, they weren't, they were still punks and very bad ones. But they had a code. They were old school. A lot of them were into fistfights and everything else. And guns weren't being used until like in the early 80s when they started carrying pistols. They were carrying guns and stuff like that, and then they started using it a little bit more often as time went on. There were still fights, regular street fights, but there's a big difference between the two. Because when I had to move, which I finally did in 2005, because the neighborhood was really getting that bad. It was more frightening in a sense that a simple 14-year-old kid can pull out a 38 special or a 380 automatic and just shoot you and kill you just for the fun of it. or for the thrill or whatever, and say, I killed this motherfucker, I did this and that, just so that person could be known or whatever, or it says, or I pistol whipped this guy, or I shot this dude for talking shit. And there was a lot less of, typical old school fist fights to carrying pieces and just, and shooting people. There's a big difference between those two time periods. I hated everybody that was considered ghetto, but then I took it too far. I kept on saying ghetto trash people are this, ghetto that. I'd rather be a sellout. I'd rather be whitewashed Mexican. I'd rather be this and that. I was saying a bunch of stupid things, a bunch of stupid shit. I should never have said that to begin with. I was letting my anger get the best of me, all because of some stupid ass thugs that almost killed me. And I'm still suffering a lot of problems because of it. It's all pretty much, mental problems ever since, because I still got brain damage, and I think it might be permanent. Hopefully it's not, but I'm on disability because for that right now, I haven't worked ever since 2006. So I was put on disability ever since then. So I don't have to work anymore, and I can't even hold a job even if I try to. The head trauma was causing so many problems. So I had to settle for that. So some people are saying, well, fuck it, dude. You almost got killed and you got brain damage. You might as well just, receive help. You don't have to worry about working anymore for the rest of your life. True, and stuff like that, but I'm still worried about, is there any other type of problems that I might have, that I might get in the near future. In the next 10 years, who knows if, I don't know, maybe nothing will happen. But a lot of the anger and a lot of the stuff that got me to pretty much hate a lot of people there in my old neighborhood. Now I don't live there anymore. I live in a much better neighborhood now. And even though things are better, much better in one aspect, I don't know, because those guys they're already out of one of them is already out of prison. I don't know if this guy even bothered to even make an effort to turn his life around. I don't give a fuck about hate. I don't hate this guy. I used to, but not anymore. I don't give a fuck. But all I feel is pity. Pity for him, from coming from a dysfunctional family. Pity for the other guy. And I never thought I would say this, but even pity for Jennifer Garcia. She's just mentally fucked up. She has some very serious issues. Well, anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Questions or comments, you know what to do. And this is Dare to Speak. And to all of you, take care.